Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me play today. Thanks for coming to HSGA, Colorado. It's good to have you guys here. And it's fun to be able to play with Gerald again. It's been a couple of years. I always enjoy hanging out with him and everybody here. So I learned this one's called Indebted to You. I got it off an Andy Iona album. And they started off with the steel, and then there were beautiful vocals. I'm not going to sing this one. But we're going to play a little bit of Indebted to You. Andy Iona is one of my favorites, and I love listening to the way he plays. Page 18. So, who was talking the other day? Somebody was saying, maybe it was Captain Ivan. He came from a country background, played pedal steel, swing bands when he was starting on steel. And me too, I play a lot of pedal steel, so I've taken some lessons from Alan. He says, you sound like a country player, but it's good, I like it. So I still am learning the Hawaiian style. It's a challenge and it's lovely. So anyway, that's kind of how I've approached the steels. I started with lap steel, but then I jumped to pedal steel, and now I'm back. And that's what I play most of the time. So in Arizona in the winter, I work in a group called the Rhythm Cats, and we have a theater, and we play for snowbirds. November through April, it's a lot of fun. So I mostly play pedal steel, but I get to do a Hawaiian number usually every night or two, and we play country and rock and stuff like that. So we're in Mesa, Arizona at the Silver Star Theater. So I really enjoy that. Anyway, Chuck Lettuce, one of my friends, has always come and done our seminars. He's not here. I learned this song from him, and since he's not here, I'm going to play it. Thank you. Anybody ever hear that song? Herb Remington. Herb Remington. Great Hawaiian player, great swing player. You know, he was with Bob Wills, I believe. And it's called Sweetenin'. Sweetenin' by Herb Remington. Yeah. So I got a few more tunes here. I'm going to go solo here in a minute. I want to tell you about this guitar. My friend Bob Moore made this. Where's Bob this morning? I saw him in there. He is. Bob was in the beginning steel class, and he is a great luthier. And you can see his booth back there. He's got all that cool stuff. Anyway, about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, maybe longer, I decided I want a Weissenborn. So I got some koa wood and talked to Bob, and he said, I never made one of those. So we embarked on this adventure and made it, and I don't know, it took a while, a year and a half or so, maybe longer. But Bob just did an amazing job on this thing. So it's all koa, it's got Purple Heart on it. And I don't know the entire history, but Herman Weissenborn invented these in the 20s because Hawaiian music needed louder guitars. Acoustic guitars just weren't cutting it with the bigger bands, you know. And the jazz era was influencing arrangements, and tourism was influencing arrangements. And so the bands drowned out the acoustic guitar. And so this was one of the first attempts at a new kind of Hawaiian guitar, and it's hollow neck right here. It's kind of interesting. So they're really beautiful. They're I'm going to tune this one in the key of D, open D, and they just have a beautiful mellow sound. So it's kind of like my meditation guitar. So open E is a common Hawaiian tuning in the early days. This is open D, which is exactly the same intervals, just down a whole step. And I like it for rock and roll lap steel too, because the E is on the 2nd fret, so you can do this kind of stuff. So if you're playing rock or blues, you got that E, and guitar players mostly only know how to play an E, so that's perfect. So I'm going to try a song that I just made up the other day, or just learned it the other day, so I might screw it up. Ken Burns' theme song from the Civil War. It's called Ashok and Farewell. And I was playing this, and it just seemed to lay out in this key and on this instrument, so I thought I'd learn it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We were talking about the Hawaiian Renaissance, you know. Alan asked me, were you aware of it? Were you aware of it? So I enlisted in the Navy during the Vietnam War because my draft number was 9. And I figured it's good to control your own destiny, right? So I enlisted in the Navy. And the Navy trained me up as a weatherman and sent me to Honolulu. And so I lived in Hawaii for about 4 years. And I was there in the early 70s, okay? So I went over there and I really didn't know much about Hawaiian music, but I was listening to the television. And you could hear the slack key music on the television. And as a guitar player, my ears perked up. It's like, oh, that's kind of a cool lick. How do I play that? And so I started messing with it. And after a few years, I kind of got oriented. And of course, I was listening to the music of the time. And there was an album that came out that just struck me. And it was called In the Real Old Style by Keola Beamer. He was 21. I was 21. I thought, wow, this is great. This guy's playing this stuff. And I'd never heard it before. It was beautiful. Slack key guitar, solo album. And it was big. It was on the charts. You know, at that time, slack key was not really well known at all, even by people in Hawaii. And that's another story. But anyway, that was a great album. And then there were other groups, the contemporary groups like Olamana and Kalapana. And Gabby Pahanui, of course, was traditional, and his albums came out in the Sons of Hawaii. And so I knew something was going on. I wasn't exactly sure, and I left in '76, so I wasn't part of the sovereignty kinds of things. But that revolution gave us back slack key, gave us back steel, gave us back Hawaiian music. The visibility of hula and all those great things started to blossom in the early '70s. So it affected me, and if you've been to Hawaii back in those times, it probably affected you too. So I'm going to try this song by Olamana, Jerry Santos. I really like this song. remember days when we were young. We used to catch old pool mountain streams. Round the Colau hills we'd ride on horseback. Long ago it seemed it was a dream. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. But I fear you won't be like I left you. Kealoha kumeo kalu. I remember days when we were wiser, when our world was small enough for dreams, and you have lingered there, my sister. I no longer can, it seems. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. But I fear it won't be like I left you. Me kealoha kumeo kalu. Change is a strange thing, it cannot be denied. Can help you find yourself or make you lose your mind. Move with it slowly, 'cause on the road we go. Please don't hold on to me, we all must go alone. I remember days when we were smiling, when we laughed and sang the whole night long. And I will greet you as I find you, with the sharing of a brand new song. Last night I dreamt I was returning, and my heart called out to you. So please accept me as you find me. Me kealoha kumeo kalu. Me kealoha kumeo kalu. Me kealoha kumeo kalu. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, the first time I took this guitar out of Bob's hands and I went home and started playing it, I didn't know what to do, but I kind of made up this little song, so I'm going to mess with this for a minute and then play one more after that, and then we'll move on. I have no name for this, it's just picking around. Oh, Leonard Zinn. You guys know Leonard Zinn. Yeah, how many people know Leonard? He was kind of an influence in Joliet for me when I was learning this stuff 20 years ago. And one time I sat down and talked to him. He said, just put your mind down to it. He said, put your mind down to it and practice. I said, thanks, Leonard. And then he showed me some other stuff. And he said, sometimes you just got to mess around. Just mess around on the steel, and you'll find stuff. And just mess around. And so I said, yeah, that's good advice, And that's what we do anyway. But, mess around, put your mind down to it, and who knows what'll come out. Messing around. So here's something I learned on the Weissenborn. So it's a D tuning, right? And you say, well, what's that? And I said, it's the same as an E tuning. Well, what's that? Well, it's dad fad. That's how I remember it. But the F is sharped. So dad fad. D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. Amazing Grace. Yeah. So anyway, one of the things that's cool about this, if you want the relative minor in E tuning or open D tuning, go up to the 9th fret and just play the bottom 3 strings and let the top 3 strings open, ring like this. That sound nice? That's the relative minor, so fret 9, bottom 3 strings you play. So I'm basically playing a 1 and a 5 and a 1, right? There's no 3 in there. And then the top strings have the minor. And the bottom 3 strings actually on this tuning are your minors for any note. So, because somebody else will play the flatted 3rd, you don't have to. Anyway, my friend Stuart is here. He's going to teach ukulele this afternoon, and we were trying to get together so that we could all get together on stage this year, but it didn't work out. But I've been enjoying working with him this summer at the church that he goes to, and so we do some songs for the service on Sunday night sometimes. And this is just Amazing Grace. We've heard it earlier today, but I wanted to do it on the Weissenborn. Mahalo, you guys. Thank you.